This is Max Williams with United Real Estate, and today I'm in northern Chesterfield. Today we're going to take a look at a 3-bedroom, 2 full bath rancher. This brick rancher is located here on a nice subdivision, established subdivision, built in the mid-60s. This home is coming in 1966, but is a recent renovation, an absolutely amazing renovation to include new roof, new heating and air, new kitchen, new flooring, new paint. It's pretty much all new. Really well done. This is just over a quarter of an acre and not a whole lot of yard in the back to maintain. So if you're not a big fan of doing a whole lot of yard work, this may be right for you. 100% brick. We don't see 100% brick a lot. And so for those of you that are brick fans, this may definitely be a treat. Nice big country porch here, and let's go on in and take a look. Today I wanted to talk a little bit about pain, and pain is not a normal subject we talk about during home tours, but it is important. You guys know that I'm a big fan of celebrating wins, and wins are basically when we get to the closing table with a brand new buyer that had no idea that they could buy or went through a whole lot of struggle to get to the closing table. Unfortunately, some real estate transactions are just to alleviate pain. And unfortunately, pain is a part of life. And the easiest way for me to illustrate that would be to give you an example. Trifling Tom decides that he wants to trade in old Reliable and go for a late model and take it for a lease. And unfortunately, old Reliable is not real thrilled about that, but she says, okay, fine, Tom, we go ahead and do it. Let's just make this quick and easy. I want the poodle and I want the Yugo, and you can have the house. So they go ahead, go to divorce.com and do simple, straightforward paperwork. She moves out, and then 2 years later, she sees a video that Max does on YouTube and says, I would like to buy that house. I've got a 775 credit score. My income is good. My debt's low. I'm ready to do this and move on with my life. Max puts her in touch with a great lender. The lender looks at her situation and says, everything looks good except there's one problem. Your name is still on a mortgage. She says, well, the divorce decree says that Trifling Tom is going to pay the mortgage and I don't have to worry about that. The lender unfortunately informs her that even though the divorce decree states that, the lender does not recognize that she is still legally responsible for that mortgage. Unfortunately, the numbers don't work and she's not able to buy her new home because she's still in the mortgage with the old one. The only way that she can get around that is for Tom to refinance, to come up with cash, to sell that home, or to hit mega millions. None of those, unfortunately, are possibilities. Therefore, she's not able to buy. I give you that story because it does happen. And at the time, she thought that it was just easy to go ahead and let him have the house and not really worry about the ramifications of doing that. She didn't know what she didn't know. And that's why I always stress that whenever you're going through something important in life, talk to somebody that has some knowledge in the areas that could be impacted. If she would have spoken with a mortgage lender or a real estate professional, they would have shared with her that, hey, just because things didn't work out, if you have the appropriate credit score and the proper debt ratios and income, then you'll be able to buy on your own if you're not still responsible for that previous mortgage. And so unfortunately, people don't know that. The reason I'm sharing that with you is typically in most families, if there's siblings, there's one sibling that kind of has their stuff together and others kind of look to them for guidance. There's a good chance if you're watching this video, you're that person. You may know someone that may be going through that same scenario that knows you and trusts you, or that you can kind of bend their ear and say, hey, have you thought about this? I'm not in your business, or I'm not trying to tell you what to do, but I remember a couple years ago or 6 months ago, I saw this guy on YouTube and he said that it's important to consider these things when you're kind of going through this situation. Let me give you a more recent example here of something that happened. I was working with a seller that had a short sale. Short sale is basically when you owe more money to the bank than the house is worth. In many cases, people will just walk away from the home and it goes into foreclosure. And that's the wrong thing. That's the absolute wrong thing to do. And let me share with you why. In Virginia, you can get what they call a deficiency judgment, which means even though they take the house and foreclose on the house, you still are potentially liable for the money that the lender lost. And a lot of people don't realize that. They think, okay, if you take the house, then we're even Steven. That's not true. So you never, ever, ever want to have a foreclosure against you. A short sale as an owner is a much better scenario because now if you cooperate with the lender and get that home sold, you don't have that public record, that judgment against you. Even more so, we were able to negotiate for her, even though she didn't have any equity in the home. She walked away with $7,000 in what they call relocation assistance. And that's basically money that the lender will give her because they don't want to go through the foreclosure process. It's time, it's energy, it's money for them to go through that. And then if they get the house back, sometimes they have to evict the person that's living there. So they don't want to go through that hassle. They would much rather just pay her a few dollars and have her go on their way, have her cooperate with them, and then everybody kind of goes about once that transaction is finished. So I share with you, and there in that transaction, there wasn't even enough money to keep the utilities on in the vacant house. So that was huge for her to walk away with $7,000 in that transaction. I wanted to point this out to you. It made me do a double take here. That's our stainless dishwasher. This here, if you're under 40, I know you don't know what this is. This is a trash compactor. And back when this home was built, trash compactors were very common. Basically, you put your foot down there and it opens up. You put the trash in and then it compacts the trash. I'm surprised that they even found one that was the appropriate size to put in this home. Extremely rare. I can't even remember. I don't think I've ever seen a renovated home that had one still in it. So that was a real interesting touch that they did there with that compactor. Okay, we've got a nice big open area here for the family room. We've got a pantry. You guys are gonna love this Florida room. This home is an entertainer's dream. We've got a wood burning fireplace. Remember, we had the formal living room when we first came in. This would be the family room area. And then we've got a third common space, which here is the Florida room. And this one is very large. Obviously, we've got plenty of light that comes in here. It's got electricity all the way through. I'm not sure where the ductwork is. I don't see any ductwork, so this might be like a 3-season type room, but there are systems that you can put in to give this small space heating and cooling. This is just a really neat renovation. If you have questions about this or any other home on the market, my name is Max Williams. It would be my honor to help. Please remember that a home like this potentially could be eligible for the rent-to-own program, a rent starting from $1,250 a month and up. We have 100% financing. We have grant money. We've just got all kind of special programs for you. Max Williams, 402-7788. You can reach on Facebook under Richmond Area Foreclosures, on YouTube under my name, Max Williams Realtor. Please be sure to like and subscribe. Thanks so much for taking a tour. Have a great day.